official. Everybody give her a round of applause. She totally did it. Yeah, we did just have to redirect our steps a little bit, but we got to where we wanted. She worked hard. She kept pressing in, and she even got some new orders in. She's out of the blue sometimes even, but the thing about I love Katelin is that she has tenacity to keep going forward. And I know it can feel like alone when you're out there in Hawaii without team or without just the hours away that you are from all of us. It's tough. I know I've been there. But she pushes through and makes it happen for her, and for her to just be plugged in and stay to the fire. So I'm going to turn it over to Katelin. Katelin, we're so proud of you. You are rocking it, showing what others can do and inspiring us. So we're going to turn it over to you to share a little bit what you have planned and how you got here.
Okay. Well, they asked me, well, first off, being my birthday weekend, I didn't get their message yesterday. So I got their message this morning when they asked for me to share my product story and my business story and just some things that I've been doing to get to where I am and what I'm going to keep doing. So my product story started in 2015, and I was a mom of 3, and my kids were 5, 3, and 1 at the time. And I was just fighting them every day to take their multivitamins and brush their teeth. Like, that was like serious mom issues. So the doctor had recommended all the multivitamins with a fluoride combo, and we discovered from dental visits that it was like damaging their teeth. And so I needed to switch what I was doing. So I started doing research, and I found a plant-based natural product, but it just wasn't the solution that I was looking for. I was still fighting with my kids to take it every day. And I don't want to fight, right? You don't want to fight with your kids to do all that. And I remember the day that I was telling Audrey all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just driving me crazy. And just sharing my mama heart with her. And she was like, well, this is what I give to my kids. And I remember being like, but it's just food. Like, that's okay. I'm going to keep trying this and see if I can get them to like it somehow. And then she just was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing this. And she gave me samples one time when she had just gotten the little packages, and she gave me these little samples, and I remember eating them, and like my whole body was like, but I'm super in tune with what my blood sugar and stuff, because I've had low blood sugar for my whole life. And I remember going back to her and being like, but my cells feel like they're alive. I don't understand that. So then she invited me to the Facebook party where we did our 3-day events from there. And everything that was in the event, it just was like, yes, that all makes sense to me. And how do you just disagree with that after that? So I was all in. I was mad. I remember being upset where I was like, man, I didn't even know about this before my other kids. This sucks. Like, why am I only learning about this now? And so I was like, man, I had already decided we were done with 3 kids. I was like, man, I just wish that I would have known about this so I could have another Juice Plus baby. Well, then I got pregnant. Unplanned. After I was like, nope, we're done. And I was secretly super excited that I got to have a Juice Plus baby. Yay! And so I just knew that during my pregnancy, it was the healthiest pregnancy I had. It was the happiest pregnancy I had. I just felt good about everything that I knew at that point as a mom. I felt like I had finally gotten this thing down. And it was also the longest pregnancy that I ever carried, which was not easy. So I ended up carrying for 42 weeks, and I had delivered all my other kids on their due date. So I know that my kids are just benefiting from that solid foundation from the time that they're so small, and it really shows in their health, and we just don't have to go to the doctor. But my real testimony comes from my husband. We all know how hard it is to get them on board. So he reminds me and the kids daily now to take our Juice Plus. He asks them every single day if we take it. He won't skip a day. he knows how good it is for his body. And just as the years go by, I mean, it's been 6 years now and almost 7 years now. And just as the years go by, every single year we feel stronger. Every single year we know that we're doing good things for our body. And he is falling in right in line with the whole he hooks them and I cook them motto of, you know, he's sharing with his friends and he's like, I don't know, this is what I do. This is how my wife takes care of us. And then I just have to follow up with them. So it works out. And I guess, like, as much as I believe in the product, it took me a little bit longer to believe in the business. And I guess that's why it took me a little bit longer to achieve sales coordinator from other people. But like, because I was so yes with everything that I understood, I just expected everybody else to understand it the way that I did. And so like I shouted and shouted and shouted and spammed and probably made people mad and probably, like, I don't even know what their perception was of me because I was just doing all the spamming messages and just trying to tell the world everything that I was so excited about. And we had financial hardship, and then the desperation messages started going out, and I'm like, you just need to understand this. It's a good thing and it's going to help me. But people just didn't get our situation. They saw that our situation was easy to get out of and that we just had to do it their way. And why would they do it our way? Because we are where we are. And they didn't understand that the side gig that I was spouting was putting toilet paper and toothpaste in my house. Like, that's where we were at. My husband had gotten laid off, our car was repossessed, and like I needed toothpaste for my kids. And so that was what was keeping our $200 a month, maybe sometimes less because I was just so desperate, was what was keeping our bank accounts open. It was really as they coined the phrase, it keeps going into my head, and I don't know how Jay Martin was so smart, but it really was a bridge over troubled water for us. It really, really was. And we had nothing. We had nothing but welfare and a leaky roof over our head. And so we just poured out our time. You know, we had the benefits of making sure that our kids were well fed. So we just made food for people. We shared in meals for people who had just given birth to babies. We'd invite families over for dinners and stuff because we knew that we could provide in that way. And so we just became friends with everybody. I'm totally following notes because I will just keep talking. So I have to stop and make sure I'm not going crazy. So we just kept building our relationships. And I remember the nights I was just crying. Why am I doing this business? It's not going where I think it's going. It's not nothing is going the way that I thought it was going to go. So, but every time I would cry out to the Lord, I just would question him, and it would return to the core of my why. Like, would I want to be doing anything other than helping families with their health and their finances? Would I be doing anything different with my family if I wasn't doing this? And it just always boiled down to no. I just had to just keep going then, just have faith that this is exactly where he wants me to be. And this is what I'm going to forever be doing. I'm going to forever be spouting fruits and vegetables. Sorry. So no matter what happened, I learned to separate my emotions from the outcome of the sale and to remember that their response wasn't a reflection of me. It was of their own season and how they were responding to me. And I don't have any control over that. And I learned to be a friend first and to value the relationships with the people, to see them, to see where they're at in their life, and to care for their family and their lives, because that's what matters most to them. Like, I care about their kids. I care about the people who are in my life and who are my customers. Like, they're my people. Like, they will always be in my family. And to ask questions if I'm meeting new people, and if I don't, even with my friends, like, sometimes you feel a little awkward and like there's that awkward silence, but you're trying to not make it awkward. And really, probably you're the only one who thinks it's awkward, but to just ask questions and ask more questions. And if I ran out of something to say, I would just ask another question and just think of questions to keep the conversation going. And that's kind of how I work through, I guess, my social anxiety, which people don't think that I have. And then to listen. Once I started learning to ask questions, listening became a huge skill, and remembering and like remembering small details. I grew up in customer service, so small details inside of people's orders, you know, allergies and things like that. Just small details, remembering small details to come to bring up in conversation later. And taking notes on that, like we just building our memory jogger, and like that was a big thing when I started, and like having a memory jogger and making sure that you write these things down. And then Teamsy, guys, Teamsy blew my mind. I threw that out the window. But just kind of having something where you can just keep notes on the people that you're talking to, because it's hard to remember people as you keep going. And then the team, like I might be an ocean away, but if I don't apply myself, I'm not going to get anything out of it. If I don't show up, you know, I can't expect people to just chase me down and like, hello, what are you doing with your business? You know, I have to apply myself. And it was one thing that I had heard in some network marketing book that I read at some point in time in this business that said, you have to break up with your upline. And it was kind of a weird thing that I was like, I guess like they spout duplicity, right? Like make everything duplicatable, like do everything, you know, so that other people can do it too. But at the same time, like I had to break up with my need for them. I had to break up with my need for them to help me and like hold my hand the whole way. I had to figure it out and do the actions myself. But I had to show up to the calls. I had to be there for the trainings. I had to ask for help when I needed help. And I had to be vulnerable in that. So if I couldn't find a time that the call would work for the person, or if I couldn't get a three-way call situated, I had to come up with another solution. And so I just kept finding solutions. That moves me to on the road to QSSC, because I'm just a goal-oriented person. I don't look closely at the numbers, but I'm like, okay, this is my next spot. If I got to here doing this, I can get to there doing this more. So the road to QSSC, I want to continue my 3-foot rule for sure. Pamela Sue taught me it at the very beginning of my business, the 3-foot rule. My perfect example is my partner, Tanya. Tanya, I met on the side of the road. I was coming out of something new I was trying. Look, we'll just pull all of this into a pretty little bow. I was trying something new. I was pole dancing. Yep, learned how to pole dance. And I came out of pole dancing class and I looked across the street and there was this huge group of people, and like 4 of them were wearing leis and they had a lot of energy and they were excited about something. And I was like, I need to meet them. Friend who's with me, I know that you're really introverted and I'm really sorry that you're getting drug into this situation, but I'm going across the street to introduce myself to these random people that I don't know because they look like fun. And I did, and I have a picture with them, and they were all celebrating birthdays. It was in October, and I have a picture with them, and that was it. That I just took a picture, left, and then 3 years later, through a mutual friend, I had hosted a salad in a jar party, and that person was there that I met on the side of the road, and she had saw her picture on my Instagram, and then after that, she started hosting meal preps every single month, and now we're best friends, and she's a partner and sharing the business. So I do like a totally random 3-foot rule, guys. Like I have so many stories like that too. Like I talk to everybody. If you feel like, if you're standing in the store and you feel like you want to say something to somebody, just say it. Who cares what they think of you? I have so many times where I feel like a complete DA because I'm like, you shouldn't buy that soup. That one's not good. You should buy this other soup. Doesn't have anything to do with Juice Plus, guys, but just say something because it builds your confidence when you're talking randomly to people and you never know, you might see them again. So the 3-foot rule for sure. Okay. Look, good thing I took notes. Project broadcast. If you do not have project broadcast, you are missing out in life. Just make it something that you commit yourself to, because the text messages, it saves you so much time and thought process. My customer care is so much better. People appreciate it. People appreciate their reminders. I appreciate their reminders. Oh my gosh, I don't have that much brain power, guys. Project broadcast. Building relationships. I think I've gone over that. and then having fun. Like, just have fun, whatever that means to you. Like, Kimberly made such a great example of what, like, this point that I was trying to make. She went on a road trip, was not exactly what she thought it was going to be, puking kids and all. This is fun, guys. This is fun. Because what are you going to do but laugh through it? It's not fun to be upset through all of this stuff. It's not fun. So just have fun. Like, I tell my kids, are you being fun or are you being no fun? If you're being no fun, get away from me. I do. I tell them that they have to go to their room. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was my in-person events. I've not stopped during the pandemic and everything that happened. I will rightfully admit that I saw people and I did not socially distance. There was like that 2-week whole thing where nobody wanted to see me. So that was tough. But then after that, like, we had hurricane scares, we still gathered. We just gathered with people because there were people who needed it and people who wanted it, and those are the people that I want. So I would just like keep doing you, and don't let, there's gonna other people out there who feel the same way, promise. But then the other thing about the events is like the why I do it the way that I do it, and it's a little bit different than everybody else does it, and it's like a lot of hard work for me, but it's now easy because I did all the hard work. But our events went from Transform 30 to Shred 10 to the Vibrant Living program to now the Complete 30. Okay, they're all the same thing. They haven't changed. So I just have to pick a name, and like I try really hard to stop changing my names, but I really like the whole Taste the Shred in a Jar, because that's where all the cookbooks came out. All the cookbooks came out in the Shred. And I love the name Shred because that it shredded the habits. And that's exactly what it taught me when I started doing the Shred 10 for 10 days, because 30 days was overwhelming. Everybody thought I was trying to lose weight. And sorry, I was reading the comments, but I just wouldn't do it for 30 days. It was just too overwhelming. So the Shred 10 was perfect for me. And so I shared a lot of that with a lot of my people, because reading labels is a big deal, and drinking more water is a big deal, and getting sleep is a big deal. And so I just really wanted to promote those. And so when Audrey and I basically lived together every single day when she lived in Hawaii, it was a big breakup when she moved, guys. But we would do the Salad in a Jar events together when they started coming out. But I am like way too OCD for that. And I can't just like, yay, ingredients into a jar and have it taste amazing. I can't do that. I am a cook. I need to follow a recipe until I understand what I'm doing. Yeah. And make me grow up. And then when they came out with the cookbooks for the Shred, I would make a big bowl of it, and then half of it would go bad because I can't eat that much, and nobody else was eating it in the family but me. So then I came up with the genius idea of the whole in a jar aspect. And so I would like make all of the ingredients separately. I would take one salad recipe, make it all separately, and then I would just break that up into the jars. Done, right? Makes sense. So then once I ate 2 of the jars, because it usually made 4 jars, but when I made 2 of the jars, I'd get tired of it, and then I'd give 2 away to friends. And this is truly how this spread, like wildfire. And I would just make 1 salad recipe, I'd give 2 away, and then everybody was like, hey, can we like do this? And so now I am where I am. Now, what I will say is that for anybody who is amazing in Excel, you should let me know. If you want to talk to me more about this project, I am accepting help. And then you too can use this, and you can plan your own salad in a jar parties, because I have an Excel sheet that lists all of the recipes and all of the ingredients and how many people are going to be at the party and how much of ingredient each person should bring. And I have an entire text message string that sends out like when people like what people need to bring and how it should be cut up, and they prep it all before the event, and then you just stack it into the jars. It is totally amazing. It is so amazing. They do 2 energy bite recipes, a dry soup recipe, and 3 cold salads, and they have 12 jars for the entire week that they get to eat, and it promotes the shred. So I try to plan those events at the beginning of the month so that they're set up. Then we talk about the shred, and then you live the rest of the month, because most of us can't handle more than 10 days. So that's how I've done it. That's how I will continue to do it. And eventually Juice Plus will publish my Taste the Shred in a Jar recipes. And this will be like a thing. I promise. Oh, and if you go to my stories, you'll see the farmer's fridge, because you could like Google it. Farmer's fridge, they have them. They're freaking vending machines, people, for salads in a jar. It's already a thing. So for sure, my recipes, well, I call them my recipes, but they're not even my recipes. They're Juice Plus recipes will be all over, and they will have Juice Plus vending machines of in a jar salads. I think that's all I have to say.